themselves a feminist?
No, not at all.
Yes.
Yes?
No.
No. No.
Yeah.
No.
It's a feminist. Okay. And then you said you used to hate Donald Trump and now you love him.
Yep. Same thing. Like, and that whole mind rot. Just, I used to think he was all the things that people like to argue about. He was racist, that he was sexist, that he was a predator, that he was all of these things. But no.
Dude, Andrew, I'm reading your chat and it's like so scathingly, I don't even know where to begin, bro.
All these women, minus the one who just talked, sound like feminists to me. All sound like feminists to me.
How so?
When we get to these ideas of things like submission, we get to these ideas of these things, I suddenly hear a bunch of feminism popping up. So I just wanted to point that out. Now you guys, I mean, you can roll your eyes, right? But if any of you would like to engage so I can point out how the likelihood that you're a feminist is basically 100%, I'm happy to do so.
Well, what would your definition of a feminist be? Because a lot of the time it's an extremist point of view, and a lot of people view it as that. And it is an extremist point of view.
Yeah, I'll give the most charitable view that I possibly can. It's a movement towards egalitarianism between men and women and the rejection of patriarchal systems.
Okay.
That's feminism.
Well, for me personally, submission is only due to my husband, and that is it. I'm not here to submit to any other man other than my husband, unless it's like a church leader or someone wiser than me.
Who's asking you to submit to strangers? That's bizarre.
You're saying submit, like women submitting to men. So men is
no,
other
that's not
than
what
just
I said at all.
You're literally talking about your scripture
came up to
in
topics
Timothy.
Of submission. By the way, I wasn't even referencing you, Nala. You can be quiet for a minute while we're talking, while we're having our conversation. So anyway, back where I was before I was so rudely interrupted by the former sex worker. If you don't mind, if we can just kind of dive into this, I'd like to ask you what your definition of feminism is.
I would have the same definition. I would say like anti-patriarchal society.
Yeah. I think that the rejection of patriarchy is very key to feminism. And so in interpersonal dynamics, when I hear things like mutual submission, I don't think that they're talking about what a traditional role of mutual submission would actually be, right? They're talking about the idea of 50-50 or equal, with, et cetera, et cetera. I think that that's a way in which feminists view modernity.
Well, I don't think it has to be 50-50.
Being interchangeable widgets.
I don't believe that it has to be 50-50. If anything, I mean, this is going to be hella controversial, but I don't really care. I think women are supposed to kind of submit more just because, I mean, like, think about it. Men are the ones with the testosterone. They're the ones that are physically stronger. They are stronger. So if anything, like, the woman should be the person to, like, submit more. Like, yes, I think that sometimes a man can be like, yeah, I'm wrong. But I also think that, I don't know how to word this. I'm bad at putting this into words, but do you guys understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Well, I think not only is Christianity a patriarchal religion, but I think that patriarchy is necessary for societies to flourish.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. I don't even think that societies can exist absent patriarchy.
Well, because I think that men and women both have their own roles.
Yeah. They do.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but let me ask you a question, right? This is a question that I always ask every single panel, and I usually get a pretty wide, diverse set of answers, right? But let us assume for a moment that you and your husband, you're in decision-making mode. Mm-hmm. And he tells you something that you think is irrational, but it's not immoral, just irrational. You think it's irrational. So he's asking you to do something. Perhaps this has something to do with the school your children go to or something like this. He wants to move their school for whatever reason, or perhaps he wants to move for whatever reason. He wants to do these things, nothing which is immoral or against your religious convictions, but you just think is a little, like perhaps irrational from your view, or you think it's a bad idea. And he says, I don't care, we're going to do it anyway. Does he have the right to do that? And is that what submission means, that even when he does do that, you follow his lead?
Well, I mean, I think that you should like kind of submit to that, because if it's something that the man wants to do because it's like something he wants to pursue, like a career, then yeah, I think you should submit to that. I think that you should let the man lead, especially if it's for the better of the relationship.
Yeah, what does that mean, though? If he's making what you think is an irrational decision.
Okay.
And he dismisses your thoughts on the irrational decision, but it's not an immoral decision.
Okay, well,
Does
let
he
me
get that
let me
set?
bring an example here.
Yeah,
So my grandfather was going to be on Major League Baseball, but my grandmother said, "Nope, you're not doing that." And he listened to her, and he could have been on a Major League Baseball team. I think that him listening to her is him being kind of a little bitch boy. So, like,
Yeah, that's kind of funny. Well, going around the table then, right? Same question.
Can I pop in?
Hop in.
Okay. So, like, for me, I believe in the nuclear family, and I believe my husband has authority over me just because I believe in gender roles. Like, my goal, my future job, I always joke about is being a stay-at-home mom, because that's my future goal. It's like working one day, I'm like, I don't know what I want to do, because I want to be a mom one day, but I have to find a boyfriend, then be engaged, then be married and all that stuff. But for me, like, I believe that, like, if he believes our kids shouldn't go to that school, I'm going to, like, talk with him about it and just be like, here's my opinion, here's your opinion, okay, let's talk about it, and be like, oh, I get your side. Even if it's irrational, I'll probably, like, agree with him. I'm just a very agreeable person in most things, not all things, but I'll probably be like, okay, you have authority over me, I believe in you. If you think this is the best choice, this is the best choice, but if you're wrong, you have to admit that you're wrong, kind of thing.
Why does he have to admit he's wrong?
Just because, like, that was his choice, and, like, if let's say I really disagree with him on something, he chose to do that, and let's say it hurt our family somehow, I just want to be like, I'm sorry I did that. I should have prayed more about it. I should have talked to some advisors about it, the pastor about it, or with you more about it. But I do believe that he has authority over me and that I should submit to him just because I believe in gender roles in the household.
So how do you know the metric of who's wrong?
Like
So in this case, you say if he's wrong, you should admit it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say he says, no, I wasn't wrong. I was right. This was the right move, and you're wrong.
Well, everyone has a right to their own entitlement, to their own opinion about right and wrong. That's when I think we should go to an advisor and ask them more about it, or pray more about it
Who makes
too.
the determination, right? If you're submitted. So as
Yeah.
you start to whittle this down, we start to kind of dive into it, right? If he's wrong, he should admit that he's wrong. So he looks over at you and he says, yeah, but I'm not wrong. You just think I am, and I don't care.
No,
Is he in the wrong?
I'm saying the hypothetical situation. Let's say, like, he led our family, somehow we lost a bunch of money because he chose to invest in something or that he thought was going to, like, prevail. And then he's like, I'm so sorry. I thought this was going to do really well. Then all of a sudden it didn't. That's what I'm saying. Not
Yeah,
necessarily
but what
like,
if he looks at you and he says, yeah, I made this investment and it went wrong, right? But I was still in the right here.
I don't think he would say that to me.
Yeah, but if he did.
If he did, I'd probably be upset about it, but I'd probably get over it because I'm very forgiving of people. And I'd probably just be like, okay, whatever you think is right is right. Because once again, I believe in the gender roles and that if I'm marrying someone, like, I have to be submissive to him because I believe in that nuclear family.
Okay.
I also agree. I'm with Natalie on this one. I have always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. That's my dream. I literally told my parents that I'm going to work and then I'm going to find a husband and I'm going to keep working until I'm pregnant. And as soon as that baby pops out, I am at home. I'll do the cooking. I'll do the cleaning. I just want to be at home with my children, serving my husband. And I'm with Natalie. I believe in, what did you call it, a nuclear family?
Yes.
A nuclear family where the husband is the head of the household. He does all the heavy lifting stuff. I do the stuff with the kids. I do the caring. I do the laundry, whatever. And I agree with her. I think that it's one of those things that I want to talk to him about. Like, if I think that this is irrational, I'll give my opinion. I'll ask, like, okay, why are you making this decision? Like, what is your rationale behind this?
But what if he doesn't want to hear your opinion? He says, I don't want to hear your opinion.
Then he'll be a bad husband. What type of godly man will not want to hear the opinion of his wife?
And you're nodding over there, right? So what if he thinks, for some reason, that even hearing your opinion will second guess a decision he thinks he needs to make? So he says, you know what, I don't want to hear your opinion on this, and I'm not even going to explain myself. What type of awful wife doesn't submit immediately to her husband's authority and let him lead like he's supposed to?
So you're saying that he doesn't want to give his opinion to me. He doesn't want to give.
Who's the leader?
Well, he would be the leader of the household.
Why do you make the expectation that leaders have to answer their subordinates? Who's the leader and who's the follower here?
I would at least expect him to love his wife.
Yeah, that's right.
And
so who's in charge then with your expectations? Who's in charge? Him or you?
Okay, why would he marry me if he didn't love me? Why would he marry me if he didn't at least want to hear me out?
How is this a question of love?
Because if you love someone, you would want to hear them out. Wouldn't you?
Why? There's tons of times I don't want to hear out people that I love who are saying stupid things I don't care about.
Okay, then why would I want to hear? Then why would I want to hear out my husband?
That there have been people around who you love who say stupid ass shit that you don't want to hear because it's nonsense. Plenty of times in your life you can cope and say, no, there's not, Andrew. There is, right? This idea that somebody doesn't love you because they might dismiss an opinion that you have doesn't mean that they don't love you. Mm-hmm. Who's supposed to be in charge here? Him or you?
He is the one who would ultimately make the decision, but as long as I know his reasoning behind it, that is okay. If this decision is involving our children together, if it's involving our children together, then that's what it's important. It's important because I'm the one taking care of his children.
And it's
I am the one doing the job for him.
Take care of those children. Isn't it his decision how you take care of them?
So you're saying that he would marry me to birth him his children, then he would divorce me because
I'm saying
he doesn't want me to.
What does submission mean? What does it mean?
I will submit to him because he's my husband. I will do things for him.
Yeah, what does that mean? You just use the word to describe the word. What does submission itself actually mean?
Submission would mean that I would do what he wants. I would follow what he is.
You would obey.
Yeah, I guess, I will obey what he wants.
Okay, well then why does the person that you are obeying need to answer to you for your obedience? I don't get that.
Because I would care. Because I would care about what's happening.
He cares too, but who's in charge here? I thought that submission meant obey. I didn't think that submission meant would you want your wife? Guess, you need to explain, you need to do all of this. I thought that it meant obey. I thought it meant obedience.
Would you want your wife to be a silent slave to you?
That's not silent slavery.
Yes, it is.
How?
Submission is I would listen to you. I will do what you want. But you have to, okay, hey, do you know what the servant vassal treaty between God and man is? Do you know what that is? The servant to vassal treaty. God gave stipulations to why the people of Egypt should listen to him, because he brought them out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery, into freedom. And that's why they follow his commands. I follow my husband's commands because he'll listen to me, or not, I will listen to him because he explains to me his reasoning, and I will understand. There is work here. There's a treaty.
Right. What happens if he explains his reasoning and you disagree?
At least I would have known his reasoning.
Yeah,
At least I wouldn't have been silent.
And what happens if
I could give my opinion, and if he ultimately decides.
What happens if you disagree, though?
Then I will disagree. But at least I will know his reasoning.
Yeah. So I don't understand. If you disagree, are you going to do it anyway?
It's knowledge is key. I would like to know why. Maybe I would agree. If I know why.
Yeah, I know, great. But he explains his reasoning and you disagree. That's the question. So then what happens then?
I've already answered your question. I said I will still go through with it. I would allow him to do it. Why do you need to
know the reasoning?
Because I would like to. It's curiosity. It's a partnership. It's a partnership.
So submission is I will obey even when I disagree, but you still must tell me to satiate my curiosity. That's submission.
I just would like to know why my husband will make a life decision. I would like to know why my husband will make a life-changing decision for my children. And if he does not want to tell me, then what type of husband, what type of loving man will he be?
Yeah. But that's really
at that point, I'm just a slave to him.
Yeah, this logic makes no sense. And
your logic makes no sense, sir.
Yeah, I'm going to explain. I'll explain why your logic makes no sense here. It makes zero sense. So if you're saying to me, I'm just a mindless slave who must do what you want. All you're saying in counter to this is, I'm a mindless slave who still must do what you want, but you have to satiate my curiosity. So in other words, I'm going to do what you say either way, but as long as you satiate my curiosity as to the slavery, then it's okay. How in the world does that make sense?
God uses the woman just as much as the man in a relationship.
You are twisting my words.
No,
You're
I'm
trying
using
to
your
make me
words
look. Are
because
you
they're
trying
your
to make me look
words.
stupid? Okay, what I'm
No,
saying.
you're doing that yourself.
Here,
I'm
no,
just
can
sitting
I
on
can I
it.
explain?
Oh my
Can I
God.
explain?
Can we be polite, please?
May I please explain? Let's
Yeah,
say,
I
let's
just
say,
explained
okay.
it to you. Here,
Let's
I'll
say,
explain it to you again
let's
if you
say the school that my children are currently going to, he doesn't like a teacher there for some odd reason. He just doesn't like a teacher. So he wants to send them to a school that's maybe 20 minutes away compared to this 5 minutes away one. All right? That's like, it's kind of irrational. You just don't like a teacher. But he talks to me. He says, this teacher here at the school, I don't think it's perfect. It's good for my kids. If my kids stay here, then it will just harm them. It won't be good for them. I'll still be like, it's 20 minutes away. It's kind of irrational, don't you think? He's like, but yes, at the end of the day, I don't think this teacher is good for my kids. And I'll weigh it. You know what? You're right. This teacher might not be good for our kids. I understand.
What?
And I'll take them to that 20 minute away
what
school.
are you going to weigh it against?
What she just said.
Wait, can you repeat that, please?
You said you're going to weigh what?
Well, I'm going to say, yeah, I agree. Maybe this harmful teacher is more damaging than a 20-minute drive to a school.
Got it. Okay. So what happens in this situation if you disagree with him and you think his reasoning is off? Are you going to do it anyway?
Honestly, I think that depends on the situation.
Right.
I don't. So when we
get
there's
to
a
the heart
lot.
of it,
It's a spectrum.
It's not really about submission, right? It's not really about obedience, right? If you think that he's being irrational, right, by whatever metric you decide that is, right, then you will not obey, will you?
In your idea of submission, you might as well just buy a sex doll and carry that around. Because in your idea of submission, you're in charge. No. In my idea of
Never said
submission,
Then
we are working together as a family where I will support him from the sidelines.
What are the consequences for the man if you disagree and don't want to do it? What are the consequences for him?
Say it again?
What are the consequences for the man if you disagree and don't want to do it?
What are the consequences for him?
Yeah, what happens? What happens?
Do you expect me to say he'll go sleep on the couch?
I want to know what the consequences are.
We'll talk. I've talked about you and I have talked.
Into the hypotheticals, he's like, I don't want to talk about it. We're done with it.
Okay.
I'm doing it this way. And
okay,
that's that.
then we don't talk.
Yeah. So then, what are the consequences?
Give me what? Like what? You have to tell me a situation.
So in other words, if there's
Please tell me a situation. I can't just make up a consequence. 50 lashings. Like, what do you want me to say?
Explain it to you. If there's no consequence, then what is the point of you even having an objection? So if there's no consequence, you're going to obey anyway. Why is there even a need to express the rationality to you to begin with? That makes no sense to me.
If he has something that I don't agree with, I'm going to let him know. I'm a person who will support you from the sidelines, but if you do something wrong, then I will let you know. I will tell you. I don't understand why that's so confusing to you.
No, I'm going to explain again, right? Because all you keep doing is every time we whittle this down, you just reframe and change it.
Can I ask you how old you
I'll
are?
explain it again.
Oh. How old are you?
You don't want me to explain it?
No, I will. I just want to know how old you are.
How old are you?
I'm 19. You were arguing with a 19-year-old. I've been homeschooled my whole life. I just got to college.
So you're saying that you're too stupid to argue with me?
Sure.
Okay.
But continue, please.
No. You're too stupid to argue with.
I am trying my best right now. You're probably
if you're too stupid to argue with me,
a 30 to 40-year-old man arguing with a 19-year-old.
I'll stop arguing with you. That's fine.
Please, no, continue. I want to continue this argument because you're helping me grow and understand what I truly want. So please, continue.
I don't see how if you're too stupid to have the argument.
Oh.
That's what she just said, not me. Why you get mad at me? I asked her.
You just called her stupid, bro.
Yes.
No, No, it's fine. It's fine.
Why would you
Continue.
get mad at me?
You are not
What did I
stupid.
do?
No, please. It's okay. Yeah, sure. You can call me stupid, but please, let's continue.
I didn't call you stupid. You called you stupid.
Well, you asked if I was stupid, and I just said,
And
to
you
shut
said
you
yes.
up. Well, just to shut you up, I said yes. So please,
Well,
continue.
then why do
Let's
you
talk.
want me to keep talking if you just said you're too stupid to talk to?
She never said that.
I never
you
said I'm
that.
too stupid to talk to. You just
What
assume.
the fuck?
You just asked me if.
Am I in like Twilight Zone? Here's the question: Are you too stupid to argue
Can
with?
we just-
Answer yes.
can we
Okay, well, then that's
just
the end of the
continue
argument.
this
That's the end of the
conversation?
argument. If you tell me, Andrew, I'm too stupid for you to argue with me, why would I keep arguing with you?
He's just bringing up the age thing because you said that he was arguing with a 19-year-old as if a 19-year-old can't argue with him.
No, yeah, I understand. I'm just saying I'm not as experienced in life. I haven't been through these situations as you have. I've never dated anybody. So, yes, I have less experience. You are asking me questions that I've never even pondered in my life. So you expecting me to come
why
up
do you
these
take such
you
offense by us
expecting
discussing
you expecting me to come up these witty questions. I'm trying my best. So
I just don't
so please, no,
understand why.
I'm begging. Please continue. I love this conversation.
Okay, well, I don't understand then if you're that upset because you say I'm 19, you're 40, right?
I'm not upset.
If you get this upset by just pondering questions you haven't pondered before, then why have a discussion with anybody who's ever older than you about anything?
Who said anybody is upset? I'm just asking why you're attacking me for something I have
What
never
did I
thought
ever
about
attack you
before.
on?
You are asking me questions over and over again that I am
That's
trying
good.
my best
That's
to
an
answer
attack?
for you.
That's an attack to ask you questions? What?
Just hold
What do
on.
you
Just
mean?
sometimes like your voice is very demeaning towards people.
Oh my God, my
That's-
tone. Let your pearls harder. Like, I can't ask questions because, your tone offends me? Like, what the fuck is this? How can you people vote? I'm 20, I can vote. I can
how
vote
about
for who
this?
president is.
How
But if you
about
ask me
this?
questions in a tone I can't take, oh
Okay.
my God, it's the end of the world. Get a fucking grip. This is the real world. I'm going to ask questions because I want the answers to the questions I'm asking. Sorry that my tone upsets you, sweetheart. Let me go get you a nice big beaded necklace of pearls, and you can tug on them every time I use a tone you don't like.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet.
Oh, Andrew. Oh, my Lord. I can't believe that you asked a question in that tone. Oh.
We'll call him Blinky.
Okay, how about this? Instead of continuously asking if I think I'm too stupid, let's just continue the conversation. How's that?
Yeah. So here's
Very
the
mature.
Yeah.
So here's the question that I don't understand, right? I guess what I'm processing is if it is true that you're willing to submit to X person, even if they make irrational decision, then why is the necessity even there for them to express the decision to begin with? That's what I don't get. That's what makes no sense to me, because if he expresses it and you disagree with it, but you're going to do it anyway, then why does he ever need to express it to begin with? That's just like, that's bizarre.
Because I'm his wife and I'm not a slave. There's a difference.
Yeah, but I don't understand then, because then the threshold breaker for what would make you a slave is not the task he wants you to do, but rather the fact that he won't tell you why. And that I don't understand either, right? So if he walks in and he's like, clean all this shit up. And you're like, why? And he goes, well, because I want it cleaned up. Well, then he cleaned it up and you're not a slave. But if he walks in and says, clean all this shit up, and you say, why? And he's like, don't fucking worry about it, then you are a slave. It's like that makes no, you see how that sounds, right? When it's said out loud, it makes no sense.
You do understand that most things are situational, right? There's so many different
sure. I can
situations
grant that things are situational.
that these, what your example, it could be different in, and your example could work in. So I think it's very all situational. So that's why I chose the one with my school, because that's like, it kind of like, it's what I would understand.
Yeah.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah, but I don't see still how, if this is submission, and the idea behind submission is you're going to do it anyway, regardless of even if you agree with his reasoning behind it, then why should he ever give his reasoning? Because if he never does, you do it anyway.
So Andrew, do you not speak to your wife about like big decisions in your life, or you just make the decisions and not care what she thinks?
Sure, I talk to her about all sorts of things, and then there's all sorts of things that I make that are big decisions I don't talk to her
Well, do you
about.
care about her opinion in the matter, or do you just talk to vent?
Sometimes I really care about her opinion.
Okay.
Sometimes I don't give a shit at all.
Okay.
It just
Well, no.
depends on
I don't
what
think
it is.
she's saying that the male has to respect
What I'm
every
saying is
opinion she
that's
has.
my choice. What I'm saying is that that's my choice. I get to make that decision. That's what I'm saying.
That you care about what she thinks and says because she's your wife?
On which topics I want her advice on and which ones I don't want her advice on, yeah.
What type of topics do you not ask her opinion on?
Oh, all sorts of things. All sorts of political topics I don't give a shit about her opinion on. There's all sorts of topics. And then there's all sorts of topics I really care about her opinion on, right?
Such
want
as?
her advice on them. But what I'm saying is that would be my choice to make that determination,
Okay.
not her choice to make that determination.
See, I think you and I have two different ideas on submission. I agree. I agree. That's where we can agree on. I come from a family where my mom and dad, whenever they need to make a big decision, they talk together about everything. The only big decision my dad has never told my mom about was buying her like I don't remember how much it was. I think it was like a $2,000 ring for her birthday. It's not even that much, but it was good enough for my mom.
Submission with permission.
That was like something that he didn't tell her about.
Submission with permission.
And so there's just a lot of things that my mom and dad, they would always talk to each other about big decisions, especially when it includes my brother and I. So for me, communication is always a big thing. And I think that I would submit to my husband on most things. I think on some things that, as you're saying, where it's very, very irrational, like he wants to spend $2,000 gambling, I would say no way in hell are you doing that, because you're putting our family monetary value at risk.
The conversation there, if they're gambling, is that's against your religion.
Okay,
then let's say something.
Let's say something that's not against the religion. Let's say he wants to go.
Right.
Let's say he wants to go on a family trip to somewhere that's way beyond our financial area.
Situation, yeah.
Financial situation. I might say reconsider. Go someplace else. Go someplace that's nicer.
And so, great. So here's the scenario. You say, let's reconsider this. And he says, no. I'm not going to reconsider it. We're going on the fucking vacation, baby, and I don't want to hear another thing about it ever again for the rest of my life. You say what?
If he's doing, there's two situations that can happen. If he's doing this as a birthday gift, and it's like not that, and it's not that bad, okay. But if it's just, why are you spending so much money for no reason at all? I'm just saying, go have fun. I'll stay back. It'll be half the cost.
So how's that submission then? How's that submission? He says, no, get in the car. We're going. You're coming with me. We're going, baby. We're going on this trip.
If it is putting our family's financial money at risk, then he must be drunk.
Well, then but whose choice is it for the family finances?
This is why,
whose decisions are these ultimately? They can't be yours if he's the head. It makes no sense. You see what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
I will submit to you. I will submit to you as long as you are doing what I think I want you to do. That's what submission
And
means
you know
to
what? I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're trying, what you understand me saying. But I think it just comes down that you and I just have really different ideas on submission. And I think you also see this from a man's point of view, where I see this from a woman's point of view as what I want to do for my husband. And you're thinking of what you want your wife to do for you. So I think there's two very different views.
No, I'm not talking about either of those things. I'm just talking about submission and what it means.
Okay, well, I have an idea.
It's super duper hard. I'm just showing you a logical circle.
Okay.
So that you understand the logical circle. So here's submission. I obey my husband. You agree with me that's submission?
Yeah, I obey my husband.
Okay, so your husband gives you no immoral task or nothing against your religion. No task that is immoral, nothing which is against your religion.
Okay.
Do you obey that task?
If it is not immoral and not against my religion, then sure.
Okay, then sure. So he says, baby, we're going on a family vacation.
Hang on.
Hey, just let me finish.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, so great. So now we're halfway through the circle. Yes. As long as it's not immoral, it's not evil, it's not against my religion, I'm going to do it, right? I'm going to obey. So he comes to you with a task which you think is irrational, right? He says, hey, Okay, we're going on this family trip to the fucking Keys, and I'm emptying out half of our savings. And you're like, that's a terrible idea. He says, I don't give a shit. I really don't want to hear your opinion on it. We're going. He's done nothing immoral, nothing against your religion. So help me circle back to how you're going to obey, right? You're going to obey?
I see where you're going.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. But when you get to that third stage, he checked 2 out of 3 check marks. I just don't think that it's very wise. And if he really wants to go on that trip, bring one of your boys. Bring one of your friends.
Okay. All right. I'll turn it back over to Brian, mostly because I got to go take a leak. But anyway, I appreciated the conversation.
Have a good leak,
thank you
Andrew.
for the
Have a good leak.
Thank you.
Have a good leak. Think of us while you.
Oh, thank God.
I think she had some.
I was
just. It cut you off a bit. You said this is the most difficult conversation of your life, or what?
Yes, this probably was the most, because I've never had somebody. Well, I guess I could say attack my values before, and I've never had to consider in depth this like that type of value, because in my experience, submission is like, I will follow what you say. I will help you along the way. I will help you from the sidelines. I will help you with my children. I will help you with household works, this and that. I will submit to you. I will be the peg underneath you. I'll be your foundation to help you stay up. And I've never had someone come up with this idea that, okay, what happens if your husband's a big fucking asshole?
Yeah.
I wouldn't marry him, like.
Before I have you come in on this, here, play that video. Go to the video tab. Related to the being submissive, leading thing. Go ahead and play it.
I know what you're gonna play.
1 sec, guys. We're getting it pulled up. All right, guys. Hold on. Bro, it's here. You got to get the audio on.
I love The Office.
Me too.
I got away with everything under the last boss, and it wasn't good for me at all. So I want guidance. I want leadership. But don't just like boss me around, Like lead me. Lead me when I'm in the mood to be led.
Okay.
The fact you knew that.
You get it.
No, I love that. I love
God,
that.
How do I get up to walk out and take a leak, and then instantly, the second I go out to do that, you say I attacked you? How did I attack you?
Oh my goodness. Okay. You know what? Listen. It may not to you. It may not seem like you attacked me, but your tone, it felt like you were attacking me.
Oh my God.
I think she might have been.
That was great.
That was great.
Oh my God. You felt like you did this.
It's just that it's when I state something and it might not satisfy what you were wanting to hear, and you keep repeating the same question over and over again, and I have to keep finding a way to try to make sense of what I'm trying to say in a way that you would understand, or a way that you might be able to work with, and you keep trying to like get at me and ask me for more. It feels like attacking, because I've never had a conversation like that. So actually, I very much appreciate it. I think it was very eye-opening. I learned a lot.
Can you look at it from my end? So try to imagine it from my end.
Yeah.
I say, excuse me, miss, what color is the sky? And you say the ground is brown. And I go, okay, yeah, I know, but the sky, though, up there, the sky, you know what the sky is, right? And you go, yeah, I know what the sky is. And I say, point to the sky, and you point up, and I go, yeah, what color is that? And you go, well, the ground is brown, right?
Well, Can you
imagine from my angle how absolutely frustrating it is when you say you're asking me the same question over and over, and I say, well, sure, because you won't answer the question I ask you. You answer a question I don't ask you. So yes, of course, I have to constantly repeat what I say.
No, I understand. The thing is that I answered your question, but you just didn't. You were confused. You were saying like, okay, but why would you need to know if you're just going to submit anyway? You asked me that over and over again, and I'll be honest, I didn't know the answer. So I was trying to make sense of it. So every time I answered, you would just repeat the same question, saying, "Oh, but I don't understand. How can what is the difference between you being a slave and this and that?" So that's why I'm not saying.
You could have said this. You could have said Andrew. You could have said Andrew. I don't know. And that would have been the end of it.
Okay, and I should have said that.
I don't know, and I would have been like, oh, all right.
Okay, then I admit I should have said I'm not the best, I'm not the most knowledgeable in that. I need some time to think about that. But at the same time, when you keep asking me, I feel like I should give an answer, and so I try to, and it wasn't my best answer.
I don't know is a good answer.
I know, but in the moment, let's just say in the moment, it felt like I had to give an answer to you, and so I tried to.
All right.
I tried my best, okay? I hope you are satisfied.
Hail and well met. Lol Paladins donated $200.02. I'll gladly sit through some theology in order to get the joy of hearing Andrew tell these dumbos that their definition of submission is actually her wanting to be in charge and dominant.
She doesn't. She never said that.
I never said that.
I wanted to ask you something, actually, because the way that I think of it is, so you kept mentioning that, that would make you a slave. Do you think that children are slaves to their parents?
No, absolutely. Because, in the household that I grew up with, my parents always gave me like a reason as to why we're doing something. Go to bed at this time, you want enough sleep. Eat these vegetables, you want to be healthy. Do your homework, you want to be educated. I always had a reason as to why I was doing things for my parents.
Did your parents ever give you a command or tell you to do something and they did not give you an explanation, or they told you?
There was.
Or maybe the explanation just, so for example, there are plenty of times where I give my children commands and they're either not old enough to understand my explanation. Mommy, why can't I go spend the night at this person's house? I don't want to have to go into detail as to why I don't think that is safe for them. And it's not their place to have me explain that to them, even, because I don't think that those are details that I are.
Well, I mean, isn't because I said so sufficient?
Yes. There are a lot of times where I say that, go clean your room. Well, I don't want to clean my room. Sucks for you. You need to go and do that. So it's like, I don't see my children as slaves, and in the hierarchy of a home, it's kind of similar with husband to wife. Not that I'm his child or that he needs to, treat me as lesser, but understand that in the hierarchy, if he needs something from me or he has something that he wants our family to do, that it's not incumbent upon him to necessarily give an explanation, especially if it's like for example, if somebody were to break into the house in the middle of the night, I don't want to have to sit there and explain to my child, you need to be quiet. You need to be quiet. You need to go in here. Well, Mommy, why? Why do we
want to explain it to your
You're
wife?
going to get up. You're going to...
Hang on. Should the husband have to explain it to his wife?
Yes, because the wife could then call 911, be a helper in that situation.
When he can just say, shh, I'm not giving you any reasoning behind this, right? But it's important you be quiet right now.
And this is why I said,
why should I be quiet? Should I be quiet because now you don't talk to me like that? Boom, 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 boom.
Criminal takes you both
and this
out,
is
right?
and this is why
fantastic.
This is why I said everything is situational. In all the cases you gave to me, I understand 100%, and I would do the same. I would never see my children as slaves. In fact, everything
to give an explanation.
Said, exactly.
I'm your parent. I'm your mother. You're gonna do what I say. You were gonna do what I say. You might not like it. I don't have to give you an explanation.
No,
you're gonna do it.
Everything you said, I agree with. That's why I'm saying everything is very situational. Would you allow your husband to spend your entire family's saving to go on a trip to Hawaii?
It's if my husband is leading my family, I'm going to trust that whatever decision that he is going to make, first of all, he's the breadwinner. That's his money. That's his money that he's spending. So if he feels that it's something that he wants to do. This is something that my husband does sometimes. Sometimes he will make a purchase. He doesn't have to ask me to spend his money that he earned.
I agree.
I'm never, he doesn't have to ask me. I will ask him.
What if it was your money?
My money is his money. It's our money.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
So he's going to ultimately decide on that, right?
Yes.
Even if it's yours? Yes?
Yes.
That's submission. What she just described, that's actual submission.
And see, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that that's basically everything she said I've agreed on. The only thing I would disagree is that going on a vacation to Honolulu. I don't know. I've never been on there. Yeah. With our whole family saving, I just don't see that. I don't understand. Okay, you say that you trust him, that he'll have a plan. but how can he plan to get back the money that we have spent years cultivating?
Well, that's again, like it's so again for in my situation, my husband is the breadwinner. He is the one who brings in the money. In my eyes, that's his money. I mean, it's our money is for our family. First of all, I trust my husband because I trust that he would not put us in a financial situation that was going to bankrupt us. I'm assuming that he's not taking out a second mortgage on our home to take us to Hawaii. But even if he did...
and what if, well, let me ask you this real quick. What if, and the only reason I don't mean to cut you off, but I know we have time constraints because Brian wants to move it on.
Yes, I'm sorry.
What if, can we all agree on this, that while women will often say, well, I just want an explanation of what's going on, that's not really what's going on. What's going on is they want a justification that they can argue against, and sometimes a 15-minute justification will turn into a 5-day-long drag-out fight because they don't want you to do X thing. And that this is very common with couples, happens all the time, even including with Christian couples, non-Christian couples, that women will often say, I just want a quick justification, which then turns into a grind-long argument, which can be easily avoided with the idea of what she's talking about, which is actual submission. Your job's to lead. I have to have faith that you're leading me correctly, even if I can't see the ends. That is what biblical submission means.
Right. Which is kind of what I think he's been trying to point out to you. It's not that, you know, I don't think that he's trying to attack you at all, just to point out kind of the flaws in the logic there. You know, it's like you can't say that you want to submit, but then don't submit. Like there are going to be situations where there is no explanation needed. You have to just trust the man that you chose, trust the man that if he's following
trust the man that God chose for me. Yes.
Christian, if he's following Christian ethics, if he's following the Christian faith, that he is going to lead your family down a path that's not going to destroy you. Especially when it comes to something as simple as, you know, what he spends money on.
No,
you know,
and I completely agree. And honestly, Andrew, if you had explained it in a gentle tone like she had, I would have. It would have been a lot better.
Well,
no, but
okay,
anyway,
well, so
no, but
what
I wanted to say was.
Let me ask you this: Is humility one-sided?
Humility one-sided?
Yeah, is it one-sided?
No, it's humility.
Does only one of us need to come to a conversation humble?
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
Does only one of us need to come to a conversation humble? Or do both of us need to come to a conversation?
I think both of us have to come to a conversation humble.
What's that?
Both of us.
Both of us. Okay. Where was the humility on your side as you demand the humility on mine?
Because you had no humility for me. And I tried, and I will admit, you did push my buttons, and I got a little out of control. But see, with her, she explained to me.
That's my fault, because if I had delivered it in a way that you had preferred, then it would have been okay, because you're the leader, right? You're the leader.
And I've never said anything like that.
What you wanted, everything would have been okay.
Yeah, right? But you're not her husband. She doesn't need to submit to you.
What about what I want? I want you to say, you're right, Andrew, because you have flawless logic. So I'm going to just say you're right.
Andrew, did I not already tell you?
Instead, I have to capitulate to you, right? Everything for you.
But it's just the opposite, though. When you argue with someone, you just want them to agree with you. But she's just asking for you to speak in a different tone and help explain it better.
Great, I want her to speak in a different tone, too.
$200.
None.
TBH, she's holding up solidly for a 19-year-old. Kudos. Also, tone matters if you want to actually convince someone. It makes a person more likely to be open-minded and listen to you versus be defensive.
No, let me tell you exactly.
The thing is, Andrew, is that
the truth is that when I speak and get into an argument with somebody, it forces them to defend their position. And if they can't defend their position properly, they end up in a logical trap and make themselves look stupid. This, in turn, for the thousands of people viewing it, go, oh shit, I'm not going to ever be in that position and do that dumbass thing ever. So yeah, I agree that tone matters, and that what you should do is always take in a debate a tone which is a debate tone, because you're having a debate. That's what you do.
How is this a debate, though? She's just trying to have a conversation based on the little knowledge that she actually has. But if you would have explained it to
what
a
is a
point.
debate? Let's start with that.
It's called verbal combat.
Let's say this, Andrew.
Let's start with what a debate is, Nala. What is it?
I'd say more of like a heated discussion based off of two different viewpoints.
Yeah.
Why does it have to be heated?
Discussion based off of two different viewpoints. We had two different viewpoints, and we entered into a heated discussion. What else do you call that?
But would you say that like you encouraged the heatedness and didn't come with humility because you called her stupid?
I didn't call her stupid.
You called me stupid, and I agreed.
Nope, I didn't call you stupid.
You did.
Yes, you did, bro.
And you know what?
No,
I am admitting that I agreed. I said, okay, I'm not intelligent enough for this conversation right here, but I'm trying my best.
I never called you stupid. I asked
you asked me, are you too stupid to have this conversation?
No, this is what.
That's what you
happened.
asked me.
You said, how old are you? And you gave an age discrepancy. You said, you're only 19 and I'm 40, and so therefore you don't have as much experience as me. And I said,
and
so
that's true. I don't have enough.
I hang on. So I asked you a question. Are you saying you're too stupid to have this conversation? You said yes. I said, okay, well then I'm not going to have the conversation anymore, if that's what you think.
I said,
because there's no point. That is not calling you stupid.
No, you said you're too stupid to have this conversation with.
He was asking it as a question. He was posing it as a question.
No, okay, Andrew. Yes, I agree. You posed it as a question, and I agreed. But that doesn't take away from the fact that I still wanted to have the conversation, and you couldn't get off the idea that I consider myself stupid. I still wanted to have the conversation despite knowing that this is not something that I would quote unquote win. Please let me finish.
I know that you did.
You would stop me every time I interrupted you, so please stop when you interrupt me. So the problem I have is that I have an idea of submission that I cultivated throughout my life, throughout looks of my parents, throughout church, throughout classes and religious studies. This is my idea of submission that I cultivated and that I'm going to spend more time in my life pondering before I have a husband. And you have your idea of submission that you are trying to force onto me. And you may convince me, but in this instance right now, you have not convinced me. I am staying strong to my own.
Not here to convince you. I'm here to convince thousands of people who watch later. Also, on top of that, just so that you understand, I want you to think again, not just from your own view, but from mine. I ask a person, are you saying that you're not intelligent enough or you're too stupid to have a conversation with me? And they say yes. Why would I continue to converse with them? Why would I do that? Why would you talk to somebody who literally tells you they're not smart enough to talk to you? Why would you keep talking to them? Can you explain that to me?
Why did you keep talking to me then?
You demanded it.
Yeah, you bet. But you continued.
I was going to abandon the conversation.
So you submitted to her.
Right. I said, you're right. And you were like,
this is amazing.
No, okay. Listen, I'm very glad we had the conversation. Despite what differences we may have right now, I'm very glad we had the conversation. I'm very glad you told me a little bit about your own.
Absolutely.
Because I'm telling you, everybody says like so many people have done things by the time they're 19. I have not. I'm barely starting my life's journey, so I have no experience, I have no knowledge, and you guys are teaching me a lot of things. I have no dating experience ever, so you guys are teaching me a lot of things. So it's very eye-opening.
We do have a couple chats coming in.